Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everyone is having an amazing day. It is Sunday. It is March 31st, Resurrection Day for some who follow that. And for others, it's just another beautiful day on the planet, man. I'm here with one of our members of the group. If you don't know what the group is, I will put it up here right now, real quick. So on one end, you'll be able to see um what it would look like if you're not in the group, because you might be watching this from YouTube. You literally go and type this in. The link to this group, it's on Facebook, obviously will be in the description. But once you're in the group, this is kind of what that would look like as well. Just a second. Boom. It looks like this. We got a ton of content in here. We share, all of the available ways that are, popping up in the market or already present about being able to, find that work from anywhere gig. There's specific careers in here. Just a bunch of content, and it's also the place where you'll be able to access the office to anywhere workshop. We recently had someone new join the group. Where is it at? Real quick. Looks like I can't necessarily find it right now, which is super. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So a guy joined the group and he was like, "Where do I start?" And I said, "Hey, you do want to check out the workshop, and it's here. It's on the YouTube channel. It's in the playlist. It's, about 2 to 3 hours of content that walks you through for free exactly how to go from someone who's looking to kind of be more of an official passport bro, a global citizen, versus, just someone who's just trying to figure it all out on their own. I've done it. I took everything that I knew and I put it into a bite-sized free workshop for everyone to be able to have access to that, man. But this today is not about this. It's about one of our members, man. I was able to link up with him via a phone call. It might have been a few days ago, maybe a week ago, man. And we just really had an amazing conversation. And he's literally someone who's doing what a lot of our members want to do. Like, he's currently based out of Thailand. He has a global education on top of, being someone who travels around a lot, but he's also, overcome a significant level of things, and we'll kind of jump into that. But more than anything, like, he's just at a place in his life where he's super happy, doing what he wants, and he's moving things in a direction that works best for him, man. So yeah, man, I just want to hand it over to you, man. And if you could kind of tell them, what your name is, and a little bit about you, and then we'll jump into everything else, man. But super excited to have you, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, Ladon. That was a hell of an intro. And what's going on, fellas? My name is Jaire Donald, and I am from New York originally. Well, raised in New York, born in Grenada in the Caribbean, and now, as you said, I am living in Thailand. Half the year about in Thailand, half the year I'm in New York, running back and forth. My mom is not yet retired, so over there, see her, see how she's doing, and all of that. At the moment, I am a personal consultant, as it says right here, or right here, right? And yeah, so the main idea behind our consulting services is we help men mostly with mindset, but that mindset translates into becoming the total package, or what we call the Renaissance man. And so that involves your mindset, that involves fitness, that involves social acuity, that involves your romantic fluency, that involves, your style. So we help in all those areas, but more so because mindset is tied to everything. It's more so about mindset. And I hope to use my, expertise as an anthropologist, my experience as a global citizen, as well as my experience as a credible messenger, which is like someone who's, been in the struggle and made it out. I hope to, use that experience combined with all three things, and that's how I, approach my coaching practice for my clients and all those who are interested. So, yeah, that's the basic introduction.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome, man. So to just kind of jump right into everything, man. Like, of all the places, what made you choose Thailand? Let's start there.
All right. So Thailand came up because I first went to Thailand on an internship actually in 2012. I was in the world of finance, and in the time I was a credit analyst, right? And I was in a transition out of finance into anthropology, which is the science of humans, right? It's human bones, it's human culture, it's archaeology, it's linguistics, all four of those combined, basically. And I was making that transition, doing that, and I got to the point where it was, I think I was like in my senior last semester, and I was like, I need to get some field work done. I need some field expertise. I need some internship. I was like, well, anthropology is all about other cultures, other parts of the world. So I was like, let me look for some, something abroad. Thailand, was up there. Japan was up there, but it was expensive, to get there. And this is like I said, it was 2012. I think I'm 36 now, so I was about 23, 24 around there. Wasn't really wasn't really trying to spend that much on things. And so Thailand came up, and I got a nice package. Initially, it was about helping victims of sex trafficking, recover victims of sex trafficking. Right, that was going to be the initial thing, but they hit me back with is completely understandable. They hit me back with the fact that I'm male, right? And many of the victims are female, so it kind of would be a little uncomfortable. I respect that, and so I chose something with conservation instead, working in the hills in North Thailand, in Chiang Mai, more specifically in a village called Metaman. And they do a lot of the elephant sanctuary stuff. They raise elephants, they birth elephants, they do rides, and they do a lot of like nature conservation in the area. So that's the first thing I came and did, and I did that uh, October 2012 to about January 2013, and that was about finding sources of water for helping them irrigate their crops, taking care of the elephants, helping improve their profile so that other tourists and people like that will come to see the village and see the area, because that's their main draw besides the agricultural stuff, right? So that's how I first got to Thailand. And ever since
Yeah,
then, it was like match made in heaven. I came back every year since, until COVID time, and then obviously stuck in New York for a little while. And as
yeah.
soon as it opened up, I was like, I'm back out there. So that's what I did. Came in November 2012, and yeah, that's what I've been.
I got you. I got you, man. So you just pointed out probably one of the first nuggets there. And I want to kind of dig into this one. You said that when you went, the match made in heaven, it was something that you felt aligned with you. You enjoyed it. Awesome. But then you said that you started coming back every year. Now, were you coming back because they were paying for you to come back, or were you making it a priority personally for you to, align your resources to enable you to actually come back?
That was me. That was all me. It was based
Okay.
on the relationships that I built with the locals there. I still actually, I just sent my homegirl over there. She's currently in Bangkok. She's from New York as well. She's been here for the last like 2.5 months, 3 months. The first month of her trip, she was up there taking care of the elephants and doing that thing. So, I still send people up there. I still am in contact with them. They're great people. They're like a second family to me. So that's why it was just off the strength of that.
Yep. Yeah. So the
Mhm.
key, and there's a lot of times people hear about my travels and me, having these, long lasting friendships in places, but it's one of those things where you literally invested into that arena of relationship. Like when you went there, yeah, the people were amazing, the experience was awesome, but you found a place that just really, really made sense for you. And instead of saying, man, I hope I can go there again, you made it a priority to like figure out your time and your resources to
Yeah.
come back. And I can't tell you how many stories I hear, or how many
Mm.
people, how many guys are like, yeah, man, I had a blast, but I just haven't been able to make it back since. And mainly it's because of priority, right? Like,
Right, right.
there's an essence of, and we were talking about it earlier. There's an essence of I don't know who this person is trying to join, but like like what? Yeah. So it's like uh there's an essence of who like, all right, I had a blast, but they're not going back. They're not making a priority to go back. Like it's almost like reading a really, really good book or listening to like a good sermon or a good talk or something like that. The more you listen to it, the more you read it, the more you consume that, the more you get from it each and every time. And travel, especially, pursuing global citizenship is very, very, very similar, man. For me, it's
Mhm.
Indonesia, but I definitely love Thailand as well. I have been many times and just really, really enjoy it, among other places, man. So the next thing I want to, kind of dive into, and uh, super important to get this out of the way in the front end, is bro, like what, why should people listen to you in any capacity? Like what qualifies you to be someone worth, you know what I mean? Kind of
Right.
run it right now. Like that, because like from that slightly cynical place of like, dude,
Yeah.
like, all right, these two guys are sitting there, but neither one of them even have passports, or like neither one of them have ever traveled. They've never done anything. It's like, so kind of walk us through the journey
Uh-huh.
of what got you here to be able to, really, really sauce it up for the fellas in the group.
Gotcha. Got you. Guys, a lot of this might sound exhaustive because it kind of is. When I said earlier about the total package thing, the Renaissance man thing, I meant it. Like I like to do a lot of things. I like to have my hands in a lot of pots. Not just doing them, I like to be competent at it. So you mentioned, right, the passports. That's where
Good.
I'm at with it. I'm
Right.
I'm dual wielding. I'm dual
Yeah.
wielding, and I've had one since I was 18. Well, no, my first passport individually mine since I was 18 months old. I
Love it.
was on my mom's passport when I was 6 months old. I've always been traveling. Right? I lived in 5 countries. Oh, sorry, yeah, 5 countries on 4 continents. Right, 5 countries on 4 continents. Thailand. That's the internship in Thailand, and now living here again in Thailand. That's teaching in China. That is being born in Grenada, graduate studies in the United Kingdom, and finally, of course, raised in the United States in New York. That's 5 right there. Visited 35 plus on my own for volunteering or leisure tourism activities. But more so, I think the two main things that qualify, you know, why you should listen to me is like number one, I am an anthropologist, which, like I alluded to before, it is the study of human beings, like in every single aspect of it, whether it's the study of our religious institutions, our economic institutions and practices, our languages, our history, our cultures, our every single thing that we're involved with, the developmental sector and the international relations, all of it, every single thing, bones, DNA, genetics, all of it, right? And we're clearly talking about travel. We're clearly talking about other cultures, right? So that's the main thing for us. That's our bread and butter, right? So I have a master's in that from the number 5 university in the entire world. But before that, I gained my bachelor's degree in a year and a half, a 4-year degree in a year and a half by testing out of 22 credits, uh, 22 courses, for the credits that would allow me to go from a first semester sophomore to a final semester senior in the course of one summer, saving me a ton of money because each one of those tests only costs $80. So around $2,000, out of pocket versus God knows how much they will charge you for tuition, right? So that's why from the academic or the book level of things, right? I got the expertise up here, but I've also got the lived experience, like I've also mentioned before. I'm not gonna stop traveling, so that's why, guys. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. When you were first telling me about all of these things, man, it's like, especially, just being a fellow traveler, like one thing about traveling is you hone the skill of being able to see the truth in people very, very quickly, because you don't have a choice, because you're literally on the other side of the world, away from whatever you would know as security. So when you were telling me all of these things, it's like I know what that looks like. I know what it smells like for someone to have all of that and be legit. So
Mm.
it's like, man, like I'm not surprised that you are where you are in life because again, like just even if you took one of those things and just segmented it off, for most people, that would be, a very, very significant thing, even if they didn't travel. Like
Yeah,
there are people that are proud of their child in the family, like they're the trophy child just for going to a specific school, let alone
right.
doing all the travels, volunteering, actually going around the world and actually being of value and helping out. So that's awesome, man. Awesome, awesome. So
Service.
um
Mm.
like when it comes to um what did you have to overcome in order
Mm.
to like make living in Thailand half the year pretty consistently? Like was there anything that you had to overcome in order to like really really solidify you being able to move in that way?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Number one, I had to overcome. Well, I think, well, if you guys are, probably watching, that's probably half the battle already solved. But I think you have to overcome the idea of America being the end all be all. The exceptionalism that most of us were raised on in America. Kind of have to take that out of your head or take it as times change. Nothing stays the same forever, kind of thing, right? So that is going to give you the drive to do the research and the due diligence about where you might want to go, where may align with you, right? With your interests, your desires, or with the opportunities and background that you may have. So that's first and foremost, I think, is finding that. But after that, for me, it's about the logistics of it, right? So I didn't have much money starting out at all, and I am one of those people that had a little, very small support network from the family and whatnot. So anything I wanted to do, I had to do with ingenuity. So one of the ways, like I pointed out, was the internship in Thailand. Another way that I pointed out was to you over that conversation was something like woofing, right? Which is worldwide opportunities in organic farming. This is in every country in the world. And what this is basically, it's a huge database of farms in every country, and each country operates it independently, their database. So for me, I did it for India. It cost me $10 to get the entire database for India, all the farms in every single state of India. I picked one in Rajasthan because I was interested in the particulars of Rajasthan. And then I contacted the farm, told them I was going to be in India these dates for 10 days or 20 days or whatever. Can I be on your farm? Cool. We have the vacancy. Come on down. We'll send a guy to pick you up at the station when you arrive in Jaipur. Yeah, that was it. I had the accommodations for, what was it, like 15 to 20 days. I had to only work from sun up to, because it was so hot, I had to work from sun up to 10 a.m. and then stop from 10 a.m. and start again from 5 p.m. to like 6 p.m. And that was it. That was the work day. That was the work day because it was so hot.
Yeah.
And that was like Monday through Friday. Weekends I had myself. Nights I had to myself. Me and the other guests. That's one way. So for me here now, staying in Thailand, the logistics of that is I am operating this coaching, services, of course, but as well I am. And there's the thing about Thailand, you gotta hustle, man. You gotta hustle, hustle, hustle. There's opportunities everywhere, but you gotta hustle. So I'm trying to, you know, do this new thing with this modeling career that I just like stumbled onto out here at a random party, random, agency representative came up to me and asked me, do I want to get in there? So I was like, sure, why not? Never thought about it. So the hobby now of mine. But the coaching services, I also teach, trying to establish and legitimize an accent reduction business here in Thailand that's gonna, basically allow me to actually have structure legitimate
Hmm.
visa and legitimate, taxation structure here. So, that gives me much, 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 much better standing with the government. And so, yeah, there are a number of ways you can come in, but the number one way I think you should do it is, doing your due diligence, because you can come in as a volunteer, you can come in as a student, you can come in as a teacher teaching English, you can come in and establish your own business, you can come in on as an education visa, which is what I'm transitioning out of actually. So to speak Thai or learn Thai cuisine or learn Muay Thai. You can all those avenues. And when you're actually on the ground, it's much, much easier to actually like set up shop. You can pound the pavement and find a apartment. You can pound the pavement and find some gigs. You can pound the pavement and find, networks where people are gonna, and that's a crazy thing about out here too. Is like networking is easy because there's a lot of expats who are looking to meet other expats, right? Thai is a hard language to learn, so many people are speaking Thai.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, um, as far as as far as the cost of living goes, I know that, things are transitioning globally, or they're kind of moving incrementally up. And then as, hot spots become even hotter, things get even more, I would say, even a little bit more crazier than what they already are. So what does that look like? What's that range? Like if it's just a single guy, let's say 1 bedroom apartment condo type situation, what's that range like on the low end for the month, all things included, and on the higher end for the month within reason? And the higher end would be like the bossed up condo with the amazing rooftop pool with the gym already
Mhm.
inside. Like that's, because for some people it's like it's not a throwing of shade at anyone's preferences. It's more like I know people personally that when they go to another country where maybe their money stretches further, or they're like they're going to a place where they're being treated best, they also want to have, I would say next level or luxury level accommodations. So if you
Right.
have any insight on what that range would look like on a monthly basis, like, yeah, let us know, man.
Yeah, yeah, actually I do. So on the low range, right? I was paying in just rent, I was paying about for the last year 200 even for a very, very, very good 1 bedroom apartment. Wasn't a studio, like I said, 1 bedroom pool. I was on the top floor, but it was 8 stories, so like a low-rise building, I
Mhm.
believe constructed in 2018. So it was new, modern, 24-hour security, 5 days a week. There's somebody in the lobby watching, a gym on the top, nice rooftop, like park area to chill. Um, yeah, pool as well. Like I said, 200 a month. My electric was running me roughly 16 bucks. My my water, which I got every 6 months, that came up to about $10. My internet was about $18 a month. So looking at like 230 just off living, to the place. So yeah, that was me for the last like year. I have a homeboy who has a penthouse, again, I'm off of Sukhumvit, which is the main road,
Yeah.
pretty accessible, but not in the dead center of the city. If anybody is familiar with like New York or New York geography, I'm kind of like in Queens, like the equivalent of being in Queens compared to Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
Um, so somebody I know who's more like, let's say, like downtown Brooklyn, who has a penthouse, he's paying he's paying like 2,000, but he's got a penthouse, private elevator, wrap around. I'm talking wrap around balcony for the whole rooftop. Like he's got ceiling to floor refrigerator, double doors, all that. Big island that looks like a bar that you find in an actual like establishment they charge
Yeah.
money for. He's paying 1,200 for that. So
Wait,
it depends
1,200 or
on what you
2,000?
sorry, 1,200 for the actual like the actual space, but then it comes with a driver. I forgot about it. Comes with a personal driver too. So he's paying for the car, He's paying the what was that, 800 to make up for that for the driver.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's like that.
Yeah.
Like it can, like, whatever you thinking, they got it if you need it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
cool,
remember
man.
the driver was telling me, he was like, man, I'm saving the driver was like, I'm saving up so he could do something like crazy
Yeah.
with his place.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And so that's more on the housing aspect, but like what would you say overall monthly, like food, entertainment included? And obviously this is gonna be
Mm.
super rough because everyone does different things, but on the lower end, someone living a more chill life and they cook most of their meals or they, eat more economically, what would that look like on a monthly basis, including housing?
Right, right. So yeah, include the meals, economic. Like I said, I'm on the lower end of it. I am very economical about things. I don't go out too much. Probably like twice, like a night out drinking or something twice, a week, something like that. Other than that, I go to the dispensary a little bit because my homeboy owns one, and you're looking at roughly expenses of like I'd say 800 if you're party guy. Right? For me, I'm more like something like about 5, 6 around
Yeah.
that range from
Yeah.
drinking. Actually, I drink two kinds of drinks. I drink gin tonics and beer. And beer gets me loaded quick, so not that many, right?
Right. He's like, I'm
Yeah,
done.
yeah. So that's on that. But on that, I have a homeboy B. He's also from New York, Korean dude. And he's out every night. I'm
Yeah.
talking every night, multiple spots a night. I have to call it quits halfway through because he's trying to come home at 6 a.m. every night.
Oh, my brother.
Every night.
Uh,
Yeah. nah,
my
nah,
name
nah,
in
nah.
it, and I ain't in it. Hey, put me
Yeah.
put me on the schedule early, like happy hour, where we can make something happen. But when the clock strikes 11, I'm going to bed, bro. Like
Exactly, bro.
I've had
Exactly.
my
And
fun. I'm going to bed. Like it's over with.
I feel you, bro. I feel you. I'm the guy that's like, all right, man, I'm not, you can't convince me anymore. I'm done. I'm out. Peer pressure is not working.
That used to be me too. Like I was like, come on, like yeah, we're gonna go. That was also in
Yeah.
Tokyo though. Like we in Tokyo, man, it was crazy, yo. Last train was at like I think it was like 1:30, 1:40 in the morning. So if you don't catch the last train, you're gonna be
Oh,
out till
man.
6, 7 in the morning, right? And I'm like, man, we'll just take a taxi. Don't worry. Knowing that the
Uh,
taxi like $200, you're not gonna take the taxi. Like you're just not gonna take it.
you just gonna
Like
wait. Go, just go wait.
right, right, right. Because like it's like, oh, or like, all right, $200 for the taxi, or we could just get a bottle of champagne in here for 100, and we'll have VIP booth, and we can just chill and relax there. And like some people
Bro,
be sleep over there. It's like what was?
bro, that's exactly how my life was in the UK, man. Because
Yeah,
my school was in central London, and I lived in Wembley, which is like hour bus ride, hour train ride, hour and a half bus ride out there. But all my classmates, they live in Central. I'm like, I'm partying out with you guys. I'm on student mode, you know what I'm saying? So every night, the train is done at like 2. I gotta take the long ass bus ride home at like 4, 5,
yeah,
6 in the morning by myself.
yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's man, and yeah, even in Tokyo, there's a line called the Yamanote line, and it just goes in a
Uh,
circle, right? So
oh,
it don't stop, right? So obviously it stops when all train stops, but like you literally just go in a circle. If you don't get off, like you
you
just
just
be sitting
riding all
on
day.
the train all day. So what you'll see is people when the trains start back up, you'll see people on the
Mm,
train just sleep,
mm.
right? Because it's just going in a
Uh,
circle,
all
going
day.
right.
They don't
And what
even know they're
happens is
missing it.
like, right, you didn't get on to just go in a circle. You got on because like you needed to get off at some point, but you fell
Right.
asleep. So it just kept going. And then it's like, oh, well, I missed my spot. I missed my stop. I'm gonna just ride it all the way out again. Bro, you'll see people on the train from last night at like noon. Like, all
What?
right, yes, because they literally just went to sleep on the train. Like it was good. And it wasn't always about like I'll say drunkenness as much as it
Mm,
was people just stayed out all night. So technically it might be a Friday where they woke up at 6 in the morning to
right.
go to work, right? And then they left work and they've been up for 24 hours. So they get on the train, and obviously safety is, so abundant out in Tokyo, out in Japan, period. Like you can sleep, man, woman, child, you can literally sleep on the train, like
Right.
just and
Yeah,
then some
you'll be
people
fine.
like they'll right, like some people, if you start leaning on them, they'll like lean in and be like, oh, he must be tired. You know what I mean? Right. So yeah, bro, that
That's
was some
different.
yeah, hey, Tokyo was like that, bro. Like that's one of
Mm,
those ones where it's um it's awesome. It's everyone, especially like men, you gotta figure out, make it a priority to get out to Tokyo, man, because it's just a different world. And it's one of those
mm,
places where, whether it's in the US or, just Western countries as a whole, like if you have never been able to feel like a supreme level of safety, Tokyo is one of those places. Japan as a whole is one of those places where, that was the first place where like I've never felt more just genuinely safe in
mm,
life. And obviously I have a military background, blah, 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 blah. But just being able to genuinely just sit back and know that
mm.
there is nothing going on. Like no one's looking for you, no one's looking to bother you, no one's looking to do anything. Like the police are just who they are. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And like there's so it's so like systematized that it's like it's just beautiful, man. And then like people use common sense before they, you know, um do anything, and they go to great lengths to use non-lethal ways of handling situations. Like put it like this: if you fight in a
Mm,
nightclub, I'm not saying
mm.
I did, but I was in a nightclub and I seen it, right? They
Uh-huh.
wouldn't, beat you up per se. They wouldn't, no. They would literally just jump on you, take you outside of the club, and they would wrap you up in a fireman's blanket, a flame retardant blanket, like a sushi roll, and they would just leave you sitting out there for public humiliation because you're literally
Bruh,
in and you can't move and there's nothing you can do.
bruh. That's even better. That's so much better than beating people up. It's so much better than beating people
Oh
up.
man. And then like you end up sobering up. And then like if you got to use the bathroom,
Oh, yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
now like the embarrassment level is just it's like a form of public shame, right? But what happens is in order for them to let you out, you have
Uh,
to convince them that you're gonna act like a responsible adult now. Yeah,
okay.
like it's awesome, bro.
Verbally convincing. Like, so
Oh
you
yeah, yeah.
definitely have to sober up.
And if
You
you don't
good.
know Japanese, dude,
Uh,
it's rough, right? Because they can understand you, but they're not
uh,
willing to speak back, and it's yeah. So
yeah, I
like
heard that about
being
Japan.
the tough guy, right? The guy doing all that stuff, but an hour later, he's outside in front of the club, wrapped up like a piece of sushi. You know what I mean, like a sushi roll, and he's being, he's like, "Mommy, can I have some water?" Like it's like that, bro. It's crazy. So
Yeah,
anyway, wild
that's
wild random travel tangent, but yeah, man,
that's a
it's
yeah,
crazy.
that's a different one. But that's a good one. I think that's a good way to reduce violence at the same time teach people a lesson.
Yeah, 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 absolutely, man. And then like, dude, like they very rarely ever even draw their sticks. Most of them don't even have guns. They have to call in a specific police officer who has a gun because most of them don't even have guns. The other side of it is like they'll gang up on you. It'll be 20 Japanese men all
Mm.
like trying to restrain you because again restraining you is more important than let's say neutralizing. I'll put it to you like that. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
man, it's that, man. But I kind of want to transition into what most people would definitely want to know about, and I know that it's a it's there's various ways of going about talking about it, but me personally, I prefer to keep it clean, right? So I'm gonna preface
Yes,
all
sir.
of it with that. But the romance, the dating, the relationship side of things, like how has that, please tell the story about what made you get into fitness, please, because we got to cover that. But then also just overall, compared to being in the US or the UK, but just being a global citizen, like what does that look like on that side of things?
All right. So I will answer your last question first. I'll answer your last question first. Uh, Being a global citizen and dating is a wondrous thing. And now, as a black guy, especially for those of you who have not gone out there yet, you might hear a lot of nonsense like, "Oh, you black, nobody likes us, nobody has nonsense." Straight up and down nonsense. I have not been to a country yet that I have not had any type of appeal from the ladies. Any, right? That's number one. Now, how you get there is up to you, right? How you get in there is up to you. But one thing I always maintain: a woman is a woman before whatever culture she's in.
Yeah,
Always,
yeah.
always.
You got me
Remember
crying
that
over
the
here,
whole
bro.
point.
I'm not messing
How
with
was
you.
that? No,
Oh
but
man,
the
please,
thing,
I'm going on
the
mute,
thing
man.
is, no, but the thing is, like, a lot of people, you forget the whole point of women or girls growing into women, right? The whole process of becoming an adult is them learning their culture, right? It's not them learning how to be a woman. Puberty does that for them. You know what I'm saying? So if you know how to operate women, right, and you learn about culture after individual case by whatever country you're going to, easy, easy picking. Now that being said, bro, don't come out here looking bummy. Don't come out here looking unkempt. Don't come out here looking, because there are in many times so few of us, like us being black guys, right, or even Hispanic guys, whatever. That means that you're an ambassador of sorts most of the time. You represent not just yourself, you represent a larger whole, right? And I understand that quite well, and I try to make sure that people understand when they come across me, like, this is what black excellence looks like, without it being so concentrated on me being black. A lot of times I forget I'm black. People remind me of that, and in a sense, that just goes to show I'm competing on a level with white dudes, on high level with Asian, with South Asian, on a high level. You know what I'm saying? So there's no idea of this like black, so there's a lesser or a specific category of black. It's not. It's just what it is, right? So you come out here, you representing yourself and you representing, the country that you're from or the state that you're from. Well, again, they're gonna notice that. They're gonna definitely take notice. It doesn't take much in terms of speaking to people, especially here in Thailand. Women are very open, very friendly. The Buddhist culture in general is a very open one, right? It's a very non-judgmental one. So you can, don't approach with rudeness. If you know the importance of the why, which is this, you understand the importance of the why in Buddhist culture. If you understand a little tiny, I'm talking this much die, the doors open for you, right? On a different level. I was in China, right, for a while, and I learned Mandarin. Like, my first 6 months of being there, I went hard learning, self-taught myself. Before learning Mandarin, Chinese girls were like, they'd look at me, they'd smile, they'd laugh, they'd do that kind of like, it'd be cool to talk to you, you look handsome kind of thing. But yeah, yeah, I can't
Get
really,
him
I don't
out
know
of
what,
here.
yeah, I don't speak English. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
bro, and that's one thing too. I actually had straight up detractors in my because I was teaching straight up other detractors, and I was the first black guy in my school
mm,
at all. Ball. So all the other white teachers are like, I don't know, man, you probably might have a hard time out here. They love us white guys. Like, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. Come to find out they just never met a black guy. Right? They just never met a black guy. And then 6 months into it, my proficiency in Mandarin got to a level where I was conversational, right? And so floodgates open. Floodgates open. I got after 6 months, it was like first 6 months, it was I wouldn't say dry. I wouldn't say dry, it was just like low interest. After 6 months and learning it, I had three Chinese girlfriends after that. And I only stayed there for about like 16 months before I went to the UK to do my master's degree, right?
Yeah.
So you feel me
Yeah.
that just goes to show you how much it can change. So being culturally aware, as well as being aware of how to operate with women in general, and then being culturally aware about the given culture that she's from, man, you don't have to do none of that falling out, tricking, or any of that nonsense.
Right.
Speak to them. Speak
Yeah.
to them. Get to them,
Yeah.
especially if
So
you want a deeper connection.
yeah, I got you. I'm gonna say a statement and just let me know if you agree with it. Effort is the love language of the world.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
No
that's
woman.
essentially what you just explained is that. It's like,
Yeah.
again, it wasn't dry, but it was a little parched for the first
Mm,
months. And then, once you put that effort into, really, really becoming a part of the country that you're actually in and making it easier for people to align with you, then,
hmm
like I said, the floodgates open, man. So that's something that I always say and I try to live by in other countries is effort is the love language of the world. Conversational, wherever you're going, if you can get conversational as quickly as humanly possible, you open yourself up to just a
The
world of
floodgates.
opportunity, man. World of opportunity. So that's awesome.
And, and just
Yeah.
before you continue, I just want to touch on the importance of language, right? Like few aspects. Like so, number one, for just in general, if you know another language, science and evidence and studies show that you're just generally smarter, right? Have better ability to ward off Alzheimer's and dementia, as well as the fact that you unlock what's may seem to be like separate personalities because you think differently. I think differently in English than I do when I speak Spanish than when I do when I speak Mandarin, right? So you kind of have three cells, three different cells. I have American J, I have Chinese J, and I have Latino J. You know what I'm saying? So you're three different
Absolutely.
people. And then on the other side of things, who doesn't, especially women, who doesn't like when you focus the conversation on them, right? So their culture is still a part of them. Bro, if you understand something, you don't got to talk about yourself not once. And she will sit there and be like, oh my God, this guy knows everything about me. Wow, I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
Easy, easy business.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So on the other side of that, hey bro,
uh,
you gotta tell that story, man. You gotta tell the story of like what took things from Jay to like fit Jay. We're gonna be fit Jay from
yeah,
now
yeah. So it wasn't always sunshines, it wasn't always rainbows, it wasn't always good times. None of that. As a matter of fact, just like you heard on the extreme positive end, I came from extreme negatives in pretty much every scenario, and that's kind of what drives me to be on the extreme positive end of things. So I was a bigger boy for most of my life, right? I was a
on.
bigger boy. Yeah, very husky. I was about 5'10". Stayed that. I've been that height since I'm probably 10th grade. Yeah, 5'10". But at my biggest, I was about like 235.
Mm,
I'm saying 5'10", 235. And then my normal, active fitness weight now at 13% body fat is around like 180. That's really where my body is telling me I should kind of really be at, right? And how I got there, the last straw of how I got there. Everybody's like, you grow up, you see comic book characters and anime characters and wrestling and movie stars, you're like, yeah, I want to be like that. A lot of times, a lot of us don't know how to get there, or we know how to get there and it's hard, or we know how to get there, we don't have the time, whatever the case may be, or we don't have the motivation. I got the motivation, and that came in like a kick in the ass. It came in like a kick in, but it was an appreciated one. Right? I was interested in this girl who was a bartender at Homeboy's job, and I would, come in and try to talk to her, try to close with her and all that. She was never on some, get away from me or like ill or like that kind of thing. But she was, definitely not interested in the same way I was at the same time, right? One day I just, came out and straight up was just like, what's good? Like, where we at? Where can I fit in this? Right? And she was like, he said to me, I don't date fat boys. I don't date big boys. I like guys with muscles.
Mm.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I got no pushback for you. I got no pushback for you. You right? Because it's not just you thinking that. A good, significant subset of the female population is thinking that. So I can't be sitting here in my feelings like, how could you? Who do you think you are? Why would you say such? I'm in the wrong. I'm in the
How
wrong.
dare you?
Yeah, how dare you? I'm aghast. That guy, that kind of reaction. Nah. I had to accept it, and I did. And I got in, I got in shape. At the time, the first thing that helped me do that was P90X was big at the time. So that was the first thing, and that kind of got me introduced to the language of working out and techniques and all of that. And I got in shape, and I never looked back. And that was like 2009. Yeah, that was like 2009, and I thank her. Like I didn't go back. I didn't do it to go back and try to holler at her and try to win her back after that. Because after that, it was just like, oh shit, this is great. How was I? What was I doing this before? And then you start thinking, I was like, well, she's all right actually, because the girls who I think are higher than her are starting to look in my direction now. And well, what's going on? You understand? And then you start to refine it. You start to refine it over time. You be like, all right, let me work on this particular thing. Let me work on that particular thing. Eventually, you craft literally who you visualize, and that's what I've done. And I've continued to do that. So I'm very, very, very proud of my journey on the fitness thing. Because it was, I come from a family where like my grandpa had diabetes for most of his life. I think that was one of the main complications in him passing away. You know what I'm saying? I have a pretty big family, sizable. So for me, that journey was very, very, very helpful. And yeah, I think it's definitely something that you guys should definitely take up. If you're not already on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And with that, it's one thing having it be an improvement in, the dating realm, but like um there was a guy, I won't necessarily say his name, but he would say a strong body is a strong mind. And a lot of guys are in a place where, like mental health is like an important thing. And, they don't necessarily feel like they have many people to talk to or any of that type of stuff, man. And, most guys just try and figure out things on their own and just bottle it all up, not realizing that, it's, there needs to be some level of an outlet. And even in my own life, man, dealing with the tougher seasons of life, the best thing that I ever did was, just put that focus back into fitness, and just movement. And because one of the byproducts of that is obviously an improved personal image and, building up habits of the just votes, right? Like you can sit here and eat a tub of ice cream because like life isn't going where you want it to go, and that's a vote in a direction. Or you
Right.
can get up and you can go walk at the park for 45 minutes. It's free. Like it's literally free. And these days parks have like the calisthenics machines where even if you just committed 45 minutes to the walk and then 45 minutes to just doing stuff over there, those are votes in the right direction of you being who you want to be. Does that make sense? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like from your perspective in those challenging seasons of life, do you feel like valuing just getting up and moving and doing something and focusing on fitness, do you feel like that, in what ways did that have a positive impact for you, bro?
Absolutely. So, scientifically speaking, anthropologically speaking, you are absolutely correct. The principle itself, the terminology is called psychosomaticism. Psycho meaning brain, somatic meaning body. You may know it as, mind muscle connection. Some of you guys, it is mind muscle connection is a branch of the understanding of psychosomaticism. Um, there is no true separation of mind and body. Uh, there is a pseudo separation, right? But in understanding that there is no true separation, you can take your mindset about fitness and you could take your fitness and put it about your mindset. What I mean by that is they're both like interchangeable. You can access the benefits of both of them from starting from either angle. And for me, especially, fitness is a huge outlet because it gives you the opportunity to be mindful in the practice. Excuse me, in the practices, right? So it gives you that opportunity when you're counting your reps, when you're concentrating on your form, when you're thinking about the next actual workout, and when you're actually you concentrate on your actual future self and future physique and whatnot. Those are all practices that help hone your mind, hone skills of your mind to be more disciplined, future oriented, be more planning or oriented and whatnot. So those definitely help, mentally. And all you're doing, what are you doing? You're just curling a bicep, but you're hitting the bench, right? It may seem like a rudimentary, simple aspect, but you're actually building yourself in multiple levels, right? So for me, I love reading books. I love doing that stuff, and that's like direct mental stimulation and mental growth. But exercise absolutely is a secondary way to do that. And don't sleep on sleep. Don't sleep on sleep.
Man.
That don't sleep on sleep. My opinion, my personal opinion, the three aspects of fitness or the three aspects of health are not equal. I think this is my opinion. This is not based on any studies, but I think that sleep first has higher precedent, output or performance for your actual workouts, and then diet is the tertiary level of importance. My opinion. But again, this is not backed by any type of study or anything like that. And you wanna have good sleep because good sleep actually works on both. There's literally two areas of sleep that one accounts for mental restoration and one accounts for physical restoration, right? So you can actually see from that as well that there's no separation of mind and body. You want to get smarter, exercise because it'll bring more connections to your neurons. If you want to actually get better at fitness, read books because it'll also actually help with the neural connections.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, like, yeah, hey, I, I agree with everything that you just said, man. Every single thing,
Mm.
man. And speaking of, if there was one book that you could recommend right now for just the general audience, let's just say we're talking about the guy who's never read a whole book in his life yet. Because I remember once upon a time that was me, right? So, what's
Right.
that one book that you would recommend right now?
So a lot of people like may have already read it. Because it's pretty popular now. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, the Roman Emperor. A great work of Stoic thought and Stoic philosophy. But I'm going to say because that's probably been said already, The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. And that is an exercise into the more darker realms of psychology before Carl Jung and before the 18th century, 19th century like psychology. Boom. So it's more like in a political sense, but it teaches you how mastery of self, and in management as a leader, right? How to properly manage yourself as a leader and not look to be loved. You can take it and interpret it as like something really, really dark, or you can take it and interpret it as something like, which is good for seeing how people act, avoiding certain pitfalls, and how, you can manage the aspect of power where it's like to be loved or respected, and all these kinds of dynamics. So it's very very insightful. I call him Dark Side Sensei, because he's a little bit more more on that. So yeah.
Awesome, man. Well,
Hmm.
hey, in closing, bro, um, probably one more thing I wanted to ask about, and it was gonna be related to what the journey looks like for the next, let's just say 5 years, but really from now until 2030, man. What does it look like for you? What's the plan? What's the goals, objectives, that type of stuff from a broad overview standpoint?
Quite a bit, my man, quite a bit. So I hope to, expand on the coaching front a little bit more with, more group coaching and seminars and whatnot to help a broader swath of the population of guys out. But completely different lane. Two things I want to do. One is for the diaspora community, try to make some more linkages between the continent and the diaspora, Black people, particularly African continent diaspora, through genetic testing, as well as like cultural ties, as well as similar to how the Jewish population has the right of return for Israel and something like that, or Ghana has been pushing their thing, try to establish that with the 13 countries in the modern era that were the respective slave holding countries. And then on a personal level, I am making moves to be a diplomat or ambassador, or in like the UN or something like that. So I'm trying to make those moves, and I hope to have that, like, on the wheels turning on that starting this summer and fruition maybe in about 2 years.
Bro. Awesome, awesome. Love it, man. Well, Jaire, man, I
Mhm.
appreciate you jumping on. Especially, I also appreciate you being a member of the community, bro. And yeah, I showed you guys earlier. If you want to join the Facebook group, again, we post stuff in there periodically. And as things continue to grow, we'll continue making that happen. But if you're someone who's looking for like a work from anywhere gig, it doesn't necessarily have to be a W-2 thing. It can be 1099, or if you're looking to, kind of really, really get your own business up and running so that you would have that time and money freedom to be able to, go where you're treated best. We do a lot of talking and we share a lot of resources about that specifically, man. So again, I appreciate it, bro. It's absolutely awesome, man.
Appreciate you, my man.
So much,
Really,
man.
really appreciate you, Ladon. It was good
Awesome.
having you. Good being here. Thank you, my bro.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Peace.